Cubo. Salutations and a clenched fist salute, YouTube renegades. Welcome y bienvenidos once again to the one and only Outlaw News, the small 1,500 plus sub nobody platform on YouTube that sprays the YouTube yarda with a flare tip can of Krylon Glitcha. I am your host, the YouTube Magonista, the cyber rebel, the cholo journalist, the voice of the barrio, the voice of the vato loco, the voice of the voiceless. Que pasa, cyber raza? I hope all is well in cyber vato land and everyone is here today either 113 or 114% activated and strapped with their critical thinking beanies on extra tight, cyber outlaws. So if we're suited and booted, let's mount up, Outlaw Posse, and ride to the dark side of YouTube for a moment. Though we will surf through the dark valley of snitch influencer channels, an outlaw will fear no snitch influencers, manipulation, or lies. Now that we've set the tone for today, Outlaw Posse, with our official Outlaw Credo, let's get activated and begin, YouTube renegades. Okay, so today, Outlaw Posse, the outlaw just wants to come through quickly to put the snitch influencers community's feet to the fire, as promised, by holding them accountable for their lies, deception, or manipulation they tell on the YouTube yarda. Last week, several of these popular YouTube parasite snitch influencers ran content for views and subs about the sudden passing of Armando Quinn, an individual who was fatally shot inside of one of California's slave plantations at the High Desert Prison Plantation. If these so-called redeemed parasite snitch influencers really cared about Quinn, or were genuine, they would donate the money they're getting from their Quinn's video to his family. Instead though, Outlaw Posse, the snitch influencers won't, and will also avoid paying back old court fees, their victims, or child support like Gunner does, and instead will pocket the money for themselves like the greedy lying leeches they are. Before your boy, the Cholo journalist, begins, this video is no attempt, in no way, to trash a dead individual, but certain incidents in Armando Quinn's past must be touched on today, cyber homies, to expose the manipulative tactics of the snitch influencer community, to expose how they, the snitch influencers, hide certain incidents or avoid certain topics that contradict their violent Disneyland narrative of prison or prison groups, or how they have no morals or shame and are willing to use recently dead individuals to push their glamorized vision of prison. Though they, the snitch influencers, will profess to not glamorize prisoner gangs, you'll see today, without a doubt, Outlaw Renegades, in fact, they are the core individuals who are subconsciously glamorizing gangs and prison culture today like a cancerous, viral American meme. To the friends and family or individuals who take offense to my use of Quinn's name or divulging the crime that sent Quinn to prison for life in the first place, the outlaw says to this: maybe you should tell Quinn's victim he killed back in 1992's family or friends how you feel about someone offending you or your feelings by talking about what Quinn did to their loved one or friend. The outlaw hopes Quinn himself or his family understand mentioning him or his crimes today and to actually help do some good and help save someone from having the same glamorized vision of prison and gangs as Quinn did as a youth. That this is no attempt to shame Quinn for his past actions, because in fact, he's now paying the ultimate price for his past crime. Outlaw Posse, surely you heard by now some snitch influencers bragging for views and money about the incident that led to Armando Quinn's death, how Quinn was a well-respected, high-ranking Nuestra Familia member, number 3, according to Flacco, how Quinn's position in the Nuestra Familia allowed him to receive large chunks of illegal earnings from the Nuestra Familia investment firms' investment returns. Outlaw Renegades, I encourage you to pause this video right now, open up your search engine, and type Armando Quinn's name along with Nuestra Familia. Then hit your search key. Tell me what you find in my comment section, Outlaw Posse. You'll find no public documents corroborating the Snitch influencer's claims about Quinn's status. Okay, 9 out of 10 times, YouTube Renegades, you can find some form of documentation linking said individuals to a specific prison organization. That's all the Outlaw's saying. The reason the Outlaw says this, though, is because there's no corroborating public records, plus the fact that Armando Quinn was in prison for a conviction for stabbing to death a 15-year-old girl at the age of 18, yes, Outlaw Renegades, as an adult, who allegedly was possibly going to report Quinn to authorities about attempting to rape her. Now, the Outlaw doesn't want to dwell on this topic because this is a recently deceased man and has family and friends. But these popular lying snitch influencers have created a narrative to indoctrinate naive, gullible fanboy groupies to believe these super exclusive prison organizations weed out individuals who are sex offenders or committed a crime against children or women. These snitch influencers don't even want to discuss the subject of Quinn's past crimes to avoid being called out on their fairy tales of Ivy League, cream of the crop, no sex offender, child or woman killer, prison boogeyman clubs. Just like they don't discuss another popular registered sex offender, Renee Boxer Enriquez, conviction for rape, who snitch influencers claim is a misunderstood incident. They, the snitch influencer community, though, overtly will trash these prison groups publicly, calling them treacherous, manipulators, and backstabbers. Subconsciously, though, Outlaw Renegades, they, the snitch influencers, have created since day one and must still today maintain a glamorized, subconscious perception of highly echelon, Greek godlike prison gangster figures to subconsciously influence a new generation to believe that being locked down 24/7 a day in some shoe is something to try and achieve, and will never paint them out to be of a low-class criminal gangster type individuals. They must always, at all times, Outlaw Posse, be looked at as highly intelligent, super wealthy, godlike figures that they say are also treacherous, manipulator, heroin addicts. If it's possible to be all those things and a heavy daily heroin user at the same time. Outlaw Renegades, I've never seen highly disciplined, gangster-like, wealthy heroin addicts begging for money at the gas station on my way to work. Yet, somehow, the magical environment of the shoe will transform you, a heavily daily use heroin addict, into intellectual, high-disciplined, wealthy gangsters whose pillows in the shoe will always be stuffed with $100 bills from illegal profits, which the IRS or FBI criminal financial analysts can't seem to ever find. These snitch influencers just pick and choose whatever bullshit narrative they feel fit to sell their glamorized vision of prison's reality, and will avoid any subject that may poke holes at their prison fairy tales. Just like they don't seem to get the kite from their snitch caller, Muno Mendoza, that Joe Morgan is a rat. It's still worship Whitey Rasla with them. Morgan is king in their eyes still. Morgan is still the god of Chicano urban criminal culture, not a rat, they say. Just because they now recently begun promoting overtly the snitching culture as something cool now, and which is acceptable, yet they'll still sell viewers the idea subconsciously that you can be a wealthy, prison Greek gangster godlike individual too if you do LWAP in prison and do indeterminate isolation in the shoe. If you don't believe me, they, the snitch influencers, really intentionally, subconsciously are glamorizing prison and gangs to viewers. Just look at Flacco from inmates' perspective, whose recent Quinn's profile conveniently mentions to viewers how apparently, without any corroborating documentation, that one, allegedly the number 3 man in the Nuestra Familia investment firm, Armando Quinn, was receiving $5,000 a month for his role as the top 3 man at the top of the NF's board of directors. Side note, Outlaw Renegades, the number 3, according to Flacco, CEO, board of directors in the NF, was receiving a corporate monthly share of $5,000 a month. An alleged annual multi-hundreds of thousand dollars a year from illegal drugs and taxation operations run by NF leaders from prison, they'll tell you. And the number 3 CEO is only receiving a low-end chump change of $5,000 a month. Please. That doesn't add up, but them Flacco or the snitch influencers never provide documentation to this 50-plus year running illegal corporation called the Nuestra Familia, or their seized illegal financial records. I guarantee you that this alleged top man in the Nuestra Familia family is having difficulties raising money right now, Outlaw Renegades, to bury their loved one, even though Flacco claims this bottle, Armando Quinn, is making $60,000 a year of tax-free illegal money from his prison. See, Outlaw Posse, their prison boogeyman stories have more holes than Swiss cheese. Okay, Outlaw Posse, it's critical thinking beating time. We, the public, are to believe Flacco, without documentation, that Quinn's making middle-class money from his prison cell, please. So somehow, a documented informant like Flacco, who's an alleged ex-Nuestra Familia member, is just gonna have access to this intel, a man who's been out of the Nuestra Familia circle since 2006 because he informed on him, yet some super active politicking Nuestra Familia members who know Flacco's an active informant are just gonna tell Flacco secret intelligence of a super secret group like the Nuestra Familia, please. No one would divulge that type of intelligence to someone of the status that Flacco has currently, let alone talk to him. He might talk to low-level, nobody criminals whose gangsterism is built on some snitch influencer's bullshit fairy tales or book. But ain't no one of significance fucking with Flacco, believe me. The only prison sources these guys and Flacco have is from IGI or street gang cops, who, if true, what Flacco is saying is taking place inside a prison. Again, Outlaw Posse, we are to believe that law enforcement is aware, because if Flacco knows, law enforcement knows, that such an individual as Armando Quinn was receiving $5,000 a month of illegal Nuestra Familia money and never made a seizure of Quinn's bank account or attempt to trace the money trail or the Nuestra Familia members sending Quinn the illegal cash. So law enforcement, like always, knows some high-level echelon prison gangsters are receiving money in prison, right? Transferring money to other prisoners, right? And no seizures or federal laundering charges leveled against them. Outlaw Renegades, law enforcement has never historically proven the existence of any prison gang leaders ever possessing large sums of money in an inmate bank account. Yet, here's a chance to prove their conspiracy theory about hundreds of thousands of dollars in some prison gang leader's prison account and do nothing to stop it or convict anyone of federal violations that carry a heavy federal prison sentence. So Flacco can just openly tell the world that Flacco has secret intelligence on the NF's illegal money laundering operation, and no one from law enforcement is asking him to testify in court and prove what law enforcement has never proven in court before ever: the existence of some suspected prison gang leaders actually possessing illegal money in some secret prison accounts to do what no special trained financial analyst FBI team or IRS team has ever been able to find before. No, Flock was just left alone to tell prison boogeyman fairy tales without ever having to show documentation, just like Powder and Michael Thompson, right? That's what makes this platform different from the rest. Your boy, the Cholo journalist, can provide documentation that in fact law enforcement has never proven in court that either the Nuestra Familia or the Mexican Mafia leaders have ever possessed large sums of money. Outlaw Posse, this, what you're learning today, is a powerful tool against the snitch influencers. They hate to be asked or confronted with questions about proof of the existence of secret prisoner accounts because it completely destroys their prison boogeyman narrative. They want you to just be a loyal fanboy zombie and never demand documentation. Only crazy conspiracy theorists like the Outlaw will ask logical, critical thinking, alien Illuminati questions like that, according to them. And they don't want a bunch of critical thinking mini outlaws running around social media asking them every time they tell a fairy tale about mysterious phantom bank accounts that are full of untold amounts of pirate treasure like gold coins and rubies, do they? Show me the money, I say. Outlaw Renegades. The Outlaw's goal on YouTube isn't to win the hearts and minds of snitch influencer zombie groupies. It's to scorch the YouTube platform, which will make things difficult for snitch influencers to spread their lies. It's also to arm critical thinking individuals like you, Outlaw Renegades, who've been quietly riding the fence on the YouTube yarda. Individuals who subconsciously felt there's too many inconsistencies or holes in their wonderful, glamorous stories of prison or gangs. Individuals who want to call out their bullshit lies but didn't know how to go about it. The Outlaw hopes to create many outlaws out of you, my loyal Outlaw Renegade subs. So anytime some snitch influencer is pushing their lies, there'll be some righteous mini Outlaw Renegade asking, show me the documentation to back your claims. Show me the money, I said. Sure, they'll ignore your statement, block you from commenting on their platforms, or publicly call you a conspiracy theorist to their naive zombie fanboys. But the fact remains that they are the fairy tale telling alien conspiracy theorists until they begin to provide documentation to prove their claims. They are nothing more than boogeyman telling, YouTube parasite, snitch influencer, conspiracy theorists. They are the fucking cowards, Outlaw Renegades, who profess to be one-time feared killers, big-time drug dealers, or top of the food chain, high-level ex-shoe con criminals, but break down in fear when someone claiming to be of no one or of status or of significance hits them with a real question instead of unquestionable worshipping their made-up, exaggerated prison boogeyman conspiracy theories. So if you like today's content, Outlaw Renegades, make sure to like and comment or just sub and join the Outlaw Cyber Posse today and help fight against snitch culture conformity. So like always, keep them Cortezes laced up and your critical thinking beanies on at all times, and always stay 113 or 114% activated, because there's a war out for your minds, YouTube Renegades, and the only way to fight it is to be an outlaw. As always, a clenched fist salute, y venceremos.